Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain is the latest and possibly final entry into the long-running Metal Gear franchise. With the dissolution of Kojima Productions and Hideo Kojima himself being fired from Konami, future Metal Gear titles, if any at all, are unlikely to resemble the rest of the series. As such, Phantom Pain has a lot of pressure associated with it, but thankfully, it manages to stand strong with the rest of the series with only a few minor annoyances to hold it back. Set in 1984, 10 years after the events of Peace Walker, Big Boss has just awoken from a coma to find a completely changed world.
What, you can't keep up with world affairs in a coma?
His once powerful army has been reduced to almost nothing, and his battle scars now include a missing left arm. After teaming up with his old friend Kazuhito Miller, the two of them, along with Revolver Ocelot, seek to rebuild their former glory and take revenge on those who destroyed their lives.
Now go! Let the legend come back to life.
Phantom Pain is unique in its structure and mechanics from the rest of the Metal Gear series. The segmented mission list returns from Peace Walker, unlike the single long campaign as is typically the norm for Metal Gear. Along with this is the new open world approach to Metal Gear, which places the player in a massive map. Missions can now be handled in a variety of different ways, and the wealth of equipment available helps to deepen the customization, making each player's playthrough unique and strengthens the replay value. On the other hand, the new open world style also means a lot of empty space and running just to get from point A to point B. It doesn't ruin the game by any means, but it is silly that Snake can't simply call in a helicopter to pick him up and drop him off somewhere else on the map. Instead, helicopter rides are only one-way trips to and from Mother Base, which come with long loading times. While plenty of open space is a glaring weakness for open world games, it is a shame that the Phantom Pain had the tools to help ease this, but did little in trying to do so. The control scheme has also been simplified, and thanks to it, it's now just as easy to hold someone up or aim in first person as it is to, say, just walk around. This definitely makes Phantom Pain one of the easier titles in the series to get into for newcomers, but veterans won't have to worry as none of the simplification makes the game any easier, as it's still an incredible challenge for anyone attempting to get a high rank. Unfortunately, doing so is pretty pointless, since the player earns stronger equipment as he advances through the game. After finishing the game and replaying those older missions, I found these past struggles to turn into absolute cakewalks. Going back to get those coveted S ranks started to feel more like a chore and less like a fun challenge. And it's annoying to me that achieving those high scores comes down less to skill and more to grinding for money and supplies, which was a similar problem that Peace Walker had as well. As if padding the game with grinding isn't enough, the game was actually shipped and sold incomplete. Without spoiling anything, there are a couple of plot points and one story arc in particular that are left wide open and totally unresolved by the end of the game. The collector's edition of the Phantom Pain even comes with a behind-the-scenes bonus feature that shows off this missing content. That's not to say that the game is short, because if Phantom Pain is one thing, it's long as all hell. Even by rushing through the main game, there's still a good 30 to 40 hours of content to get through off of the main missions alone. But the story has a really disappointing feel to it. It ends on a high note, but players will no doubt question the gaping plot holes as the credits scroll by. That's not to say that the Metal Gear series is no stranger to plot holes. Metal Gear Solid 2 is certainly notorious for its ending, but Phantom Pain really takes it to another level here. On top of all this, Phantom Pain still features the usual Metal Gear bugs and glitches that have plagued the series for nearly every entry. Things like simply circling in place or climbing terrain that really shouldn't be a problem. The new marking system also feels too strong for the game, but to be fair, it is weaker than the Soliton radar from Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, which even went so far as to show the enemy's line of sight. The online multiplayer component which accompanies the game, Metal Gear Online 3, is a worthy successor to previous Metal Gear Online titles and features 3 separate classes with their own strengths and weaknesses. The new buddy system, which replaces SOP from Metal Gear Online 2, encourages teams to work in groups of 2, and the more powerful attacks, such as interrogation and Fulton capture, are difficult to pull off without a teammate watching your back. Due to the removal of features such as holdups and instant kills through headshots, among other changes, the game is much slower than higher levels of play of Metal Gear Online 2, and some veterans will no doubt be disappointed by this new version. The limited map selection and too few game modes are 2 more points against it, but clever rule sets and large sprawling maps help stretch out the mileage, as does the improved netcode, which is something that previous Metal Gear Online titles could never get a firm grasp on. While it's tough to recommend it on its own merits, it is a great addition to the single player game. Phantom Pain is a solid entry in the series. The simplified controls make it easier than ever for newcomers to give it a try, while the revamped gameplay will be both fresh and familiar to veterans. The replay value is weakened due to grinding for money to get better equipment, and the story is left incomplete, but at the least, the first time through each mission is plenty of fun and challenging to boot, and those who want more will find plenty to do beyond the main story. It may not have totally managed to live up to its hype, but for what it is, it manages to deliver an excellent experience. Thanks for watching my review of the Phantom Pain. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, and if you'd like to see more, subscribe.